This is Joe from Ded on Backstage Access, where the real show begins.
Hey, this is Chris with Backstage Access, and we have the front man for one of metal's hottest new bands with us here today, Joe Cotela of Ded. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us today, Joe. We do appreciate it.
Oh, but of course. Thank you for having me.
Let's start out just talking a little bit about the beginnings of the band, if you don't mind. How did the four of you meet and first start playing together?
Well, it started out, I guess the origin of it would just be just the Arizona music scene. We were in different bands. We knew each other from being around, playing shows together, and then we started collaborating a little bit here and there. And David and I, David has a recording studio, so we would be in here just like making all kinds of different music.
Sure.
Over that time, and we did weird stoner rock stuff, electronic music, all kinds of things. We just like to challenge ourselves, and at one point we wanted to make something that sounded like Dead, and so we did. And then Matt and Kyle were great friends that were in bands with us prior to this, and then so we put it all together, and that's how we got here.
And what was the music scene like in Phoenix at that time? Is it a strong music scene there?
You know what? When we first started it, it was not. It was in kind of a lull.
Okay.
We felt like we wanted to kind of go and do our own thing and not really be around it. It was, I think, the indie music is like poppin',
okay,
that kind of thing, like softer stuff.
Sure.
And we'd go to those shows. We had a lot of friends in that scene as well. But now there's a huge resurgence I see in the Arizona scene in metal, and like punk, and then obviously the indie music is still doing very well. And so there's a really cool scene now, and I feel like there's a lot of energy and a lot of camaraderie going on again. So it's really cool to see.
Cool, yeah. Now, the full-length debute's coming out soon. So tell us a little bit about the title of the record. Who came up with that, and how does it kind of play into the feel of the record? Because I really think it's a great title.
Thank you. Yeah, that would be me. And it was kind of like a recap. Like when I sat and listened to, we didn't have a title. It wasn't thought out beforehand. When I look back at my lyrics and the songs that we ended up choosing for the album, and just the body of work that we had, that word felt like it kind of summed up the general idea of what I was ultimately talking about in most of the songs. And I also felt like it was a term that was cool that maybe a lot of people didn't know, so they would look it up. And and it's kind of eye-grabbing. And then David had the idea to kind of do the almost phonetic spelling. We had some different ideas about how we're going to do it, and then the way we did it is really cool. I just feel like it's, the whole point of Dead is, to be heavy, but then also to make you think and to just kind of challenge you a little bit. And that's part of the title, I guess, as well. And to make you it's a new word, or a word maybe you don't know, you're not familiar with. And then to have it spelled kind of strange, and all those things. Like, we just want to do just kind of interesting things that we don't see all the time.
Sure. Now, how does the band approach writing the record? Does everybody kind of pitch in, or is there a certain person in the band that's big into the writing aspect?
Yeah. It would be, again, David having a recording studio, I would say he is the main, the source of a lot of the energy behind the songs.
Okay.
He'll just riff stuff. He makes all of his weird noise. All the strange programming and stuff he did here, as well as we did a lot of it with John Feldmann out in LA and Zach Cervini. So we did it, with everybody included, but yeah, David is kind of the beginning of all the songs, and then he would kind of show me things, and I'd be like, this is cool, or let's do that there, this and that, or he would just give me a full song, and then I would write the vocals for it. So I would say he's the beginning of things, but it's a lot of bouncing ideas back and forth off of each other as well, and shaping it up and deciding what sucks and what doesn't suck, and we're pretty open about that. Like, if something sucks, we'll just be like, this sucks, let's do something else. We don't take it personally. It's just an idea of a million,
right?
So
now, what about the lyrics? Since you were in charge kind of those, they're pretty deep in some of the songs. So what kind of things were you drawing from when you were thinking about the lyrics for these tunes?
Not to sound like a hippie or anything, but I feel like I was drawing from like my soul. I was trying to kind of write subconsciously in a way, like to where I'm not like, there was no plan as to what I was going to write when I was writing. I was just trying to just put my hand down and just like let my hands go on my notepad on my phone and just write lyrics, write whatever it is, and then also, getting the environment that David creates when he writes a song will also kind of push me in a direction as well. So I really try to just dig deep inside of myself and not think too much with like my thinking brain, if this makes sense.
Sure.
More so with my like, not thinking, and just in that sense of like where you're in the moment and there's like that clarity, the moment where you can just, where you're not thinking about anything and just whatever your body's feeling. I try to write from that place. It's not always easy, but that's what I always try to do. And my body will say whatever, it tells me everything that I need to know and whatever I need, what I'm feeling. And so I would just write it down, and then oftentimes I don't even know what the song's about until it's done, and then I look back and I go, okay, there it is. It's obvious.
Right.
So, except for, well, even FMFY, that's one of the songs I wrote kind of from the standpoint of Matthew McConaughey in True Detective. And that wasn't even really on purpose either. I was just writing it, and then kind of in the middle of it or toward the end, I was like, oh yeah, this is kind of like that vibe that I got from that character, because it was something that really resonated with me. And so, like I was saying, I don't really try to, it's almost like a dream, you're not really in control of it, but it's something from your day or from your life, and that's kind of how I try to do it.
Okay. Now, the first time I heard that was on SiriusXM's Octane, when they first started putting Anti-Everything into the rotation. So tell me a little bit about how that song came together, because that's kind of, when you think of Dead now, you're thinking of that song.
You're thinking of Anti-Everything?
Yeah.
Yeah. How that song happened. That was out, we were out, in LA. We were at the studio with Feldmann, and they had the music kind of working. David and John and Zach and all the dudes actually were in the room. I think they all kind of did that one together. And then we kind of wrote a completely different vocal thing over it. I was writing with John and different people, and we had something that just didn't feel like that. It didn't feel right. It felt just a little too poppy and that kind of thing for us. I just kind of stepped out, took a walk, and I just went away and came back with Anti-Everything, and then John, we all pieced it together, came back with like that idea, and then we kind of put the song together. And the music had that kind of like Beastie Boys, Limp Bizkit, whatever kind of vibe in the verse, so we went for that kind of vibe, and then went for like a big kind of Rise Against Papa Roach chorus, and then I wanted a big heavy post chorus in there because I didn't want it to be too poppy. Like the band, Deds heavy,
right?
And we started out really heavy, and then getting with a producer like John, who's very melodic, and he's in Goldfinger, and he's worked on a lot of different styles of music. He really tried to bring out the fact that I can sing, and we can dynamically write different things. So we tried to embrace those things, and we absolutely did embrace those things, and we enjoyed it, and we do still enjoy it today. But we really needed to keep the sound heavy and in your face, and very aggressive, and so I felt like we straddled it pretty well in that song. Sure.
Now, you mentioned John Feldmann a few times. How did he kind of end up getting involved with Dead?
Yeah, David got rolled in there to the studio with some buddies, and he handed him a flash drive with our stuff on it.
Okay.
And John just freaked out, like loved it, and ended up just like hitting us up, like we're in Arizona, so he ended up just like hitting us up like through mutual friends and whatnot, and then just kind of wanted us to come out there, and we went out to like go get like lunch with him or whatever, and before we knew it, he was like, that same day, like an hour later, he's like, "Yo, you guys want to write a song? Let's do this or whatever." So we're like, "Oh shit," it's kind of crazy for us. We're like, "Oh wow, okay, sure, let's write a song." So we did, and then it vibed really well, and he's somebody that we look up to, and he's somebody that we've listened to his albums for a very long time, and to be in there doing that with him, was an honor, and it still is an honor. I mean, to all those kinds of things. I mean, he's a legend in our eyes. So, we had that song done, and then we all enjoyed it. We liked the environment. We liked the process, and so we moved forward and did an album.
Nice. Now you guys are going to be out on the road again this summer, so tell us a little bit about what your tour plans are for the summer, and also what fans can kind of expect when they see Ded live.
We are going out. We're leaving like 3 or 4 days. We're heading up to Rock USA in Wisconsin, doing a bunch of festivals, Chicago Open Air, Rise Above Fest, like all kinds of festivals with mostly with Korn and Stone Sour and a bunch of different bands, like Ozzy's done a bunch of them. And then we're going out with Korn and Stone Sour on the Serenity of Summer tour. We're doing the second half of that, which is mostly Midwest and East Coast. And then we have a million. We're on every festival for the rest of the year, like Louder Than Life and Sonic Boom and Aftershock, Houston Open Air, all over the place. All those festivals. We're on all of them pretty much. And so when you see us, there will be a lot of energy, and we come out of we all come from a little bit different scenes, but we definitely all come out of the metal, kind of that metalcore scene, kind of like hardcore and metal and punk. So we really bring that ethos with us. And we just go hard as we can. I mean, every show we go as hard as we possibly can until, we throw up or we pass out or, get really close to it. I mean, that's the point of it. That's what the bands that we look up to do. They leave it out, they leave it out on the stage, and that's therapeutic and all those things. And, that's the feedback that we get, is that we go hard, and we try to do that as well. So
cool. Now, I got the chance to see you at Carolina Rebellion this year, so it's such a cool set. Now, you mentioned you've got so many other festival dates coming up. Are you enjoying playing these large festivals, and how much do you think they've helped the band as far as exposure goes?
I mean, I think it's a great thing, and we are definitely enjoying them. I mean, it's so much fun in so many reasons, but we enjoy it so much. Being able to be surrounded by the community like that. There's so many people there that are all into the same thing. At least for that day, and music. Us being able to walk around and watch so many of our favorite bands, and then to be associated with them, and then have all these people that would never have seen us. I mean, I think that's such a cool way to get people to get eyes on you. Right. Being surrounded by 30 other bands or however many are on the show. Even just the flyer alone. There's only 5 to 10 newer bands on the shows. So I mean, everybody that's interested goes, let me see who these new dudes are. That kind of thing. And we are newer in the sense of we released our first song I think 6 months ago. So I mean, maybe 7 months ago, something like that. But so even though we've been a band for 2.5 years, we did it all under the radar. We didn't release anything to anyone, so it's still very new to so many people. And we did that on purpose, and it's working pretty well for us, I think so.
Okay, now I read that Korn was kind of an early inspiration for the band. So how does it feel to be headed out on tour with them?
I mean, they're definitely for the band for sure. But even as kids, I mean, growing up, all of us loved Korn growing up. And yeah, I mean, we've been asked it a handful of times, and then I don't think about it for a while, because it's been kind of eminent for a minute here, and then I'm I think about it again. I'm dude, this is so crazy. It's really cool, it's insane. We don't, you wonder how you get to some of these scenarios that we're in. We're wondering, dude, what the hell? How are we doing this right now? It's crazy. But we also have put in a lot of hard work, and there's a reason that we're here, I imagine, and so it's it just feels great. It's awesome, and we think it's gonna be awesome to get out and play in front of their crowd. I think that their fans are gonna really feel that influence, but then also feel what we're adding and what we're bringing from all of our other influences that we have as well, and we think it's gonna be a great fit.
Absolutely. Now, I'm sure everybody asks you this question, but who came up with the idea for everyone to have their eyes whited out, and what does that kind of mean?
Yeah, I guess it was ultimately me. It's hard to remember. We're always just trying to be creative, and we got obsessed with it for a while, and just this is all we did was just, let's go work on Dead or whatever. And we were talking about masks, we were talking about sunglasses, like all kinds of things. We just wanted to do something. And if we didn't find something, that would have been fine if we didn't do anything. But we ultimately, the eyes, like, it's just kind of like something that we liked, that it was kind of like a leg up, like when you're wearing sunglasses, like people can't see your eyes, and there's something about that. There's a mystery to that. There's something that gives you power over other people where they can't see your eyes, because your eyes tell you so much if you're scared or happy or whatever it is. And the other bands that that have done masks, a lot of them you can still see their eyes, and so we thought we'd do the opposite, just take away the eyes, and just kind of make it creepy. We're way into horror movies, and that was a lot of the influence on a lot of the vibes and the strange noises. We really wanted to feel like the soundtrack to a horror movie almost. So it was all those things coupled together. And again, that was early on. It was maybe two years ago that we kind of started doing that. And
okay.
Yeah.
Now, you've got a couple videos out now, and you mentioned the horror aspect. Would you like to kind of combine the two in the future if you're able to, and kind of do a horror type video for one of your songs?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the newer, it's a lyric video, but for the song "Dead to Me" is definitely, very, we wanted to go kind of like creepy, but we're more into like like the Hitchcock style horror,
Okay.
like not gory, more into like, just like the mental side of things, or things that are scary and you see them, but you're not, it's not bloody and gory where you want to look away. You actually continue to look at it and it's still scary. And that's kind of what we're into, like that whole type of thing. I think that's way scarier than, someone getting their intestines ripped out for like the millionth time you've seen,
Sure.
Which is scary the first time you see it, I guess, when you're like, 6 or whatever, but after that it's like, okay, cool, I've seen that before. So yeah, I mean, for sure, there will absolutely always be that element of that. I mean, I have a full arm of tattoo, horror movie tattoos and stuff like that. I mean, it's something that's that we're always going to be drawn to.
Very good. Now, when someone listens to Dead, whether they're hearing the new album for the first time or experiencing the band live first time, what's the one thing that you hope they can take away from the Dead experience?
I mean, the main thing is just that it impacts them, that it hits them in some way. I mean, that's all that I really want from music when I'm, trying to find new bands. Is I just want to be like, damn, that's, like I just want to get that reaction, like, damn, that's sick. Oh, I got to show this to somebody, or I got to listen to that again, or whatever it is. Like, I want people to get excited. I want them, that would be the ultimate thing, for me, and I'm sure for the guys too. Just, I want them to feel something. That's the main thing. That's what art is supposed to do, is to make you feel something.
Awesome, and absolutely. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us today. We do appreciate it. It's a great new album. I hope everybody's going to check it out when it hits, and get a chance to check you out on some of these upcoming tours.
Yeah, thank you so much, and looking forward to it.
You're welcome.
What do you want from me? Run your monopoly. I am the opposite, God forbid.